Excellency, Mr. Secretary General, I have the honor to present to you my letter of introduction by the Belgian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sophie Wilmes, appointing me as plenipotentiary representative of the Kingdom of Belgium.
And it's my great pleasure, Ambassador, to accept your letter of credence, and I look forward to working with you during your term of office. Welcome.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Mr. Secretary General, I'm very honored to stand here today, although virtually, to present my letter of introduction by Minister Wilmes as the plenipotentiary representative of the Kingdom of Belgium to the Caribbean community. I would also like to take this opportunity to convey the warmest regards of the Minister to you and the people of the Caribbean region, as well as our wish to maintain and further strengthen the excellent relationship that exists between the Caribbean community and Belgium. Unfortunately, the COVID pandemic has prevented me to hand over my letter of introduction in person. I sincerely hope that I will be able to meet you or your successor and your staff at the CARICOM Secretariat very soon. We live in difficult times because of COVID-19, and I wish to convey my deepest condolences to the people of the Caribbean community who have lost loved ones during this pandemic. Livelihoods of many have been affected by this crisis too. Despite all these setbacks, the management of this crisis by CARICOM and its member states and the solidarity between them has been exemplary. Most of the CARICOM member states have gone a long way to vaccinate their population, and also Belgium would like to further contribute to this. As a sign of solidarity and in the knowledge that nobody is safe until everyone is safe, Belgium has to this date donated 4 million euro to the COVAX facility on top of the EU contribution to that facility. Furthermore, Belgium will donate an additional 4 million vaccines to the facility in the coming months. Belgium has excellent and warm relations with all countries within the Caribbean community, as well as with CARICOM itself. The CARICOM countries are, just like Belgium, all examples of true democracies in a world where democratic values are increasingly at risk, and we should continue to cherish this. Belgium and the Caribbean community are also strongly committed to multilateralism, peace and development through their engagement and cooperation in multilateral fora such as the UN. And I would like to thank the region once again for their support for Belgium's seat in the Security Council in 2019-2020, during which we worked closely together with CARICOM and the CARICOM member states. And especially with St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who was also a member at that time. Belgium is very conscious of the value of regional cooperation and unity, and is pleased to see the progress made within CARICOM in its path to further integration. Relations between the CARICOM region and the European Union, of which Belgium is one of the founding members and host of many of its institutions, have equally been strong. Hopefully, with the post-Cotonou Agreement and the new EU Neighbourhood Development and International Cooperation Instrument, this relation will further strengthen in the coming years and decades. The post-Cotonou Agreement has taken into account the problems, needs and challenges of the African, Pacific and Caribbean regions. It is a confirmation of the common core values and principles all of us aim for, like democracy, human rights and the rule of law. The agreement was adapted to the realities of the 21st century, taking into account topics like digitalization and the blue economy. Brexit posed a challenge for many Caribbean nations in their trade relations with the EU, but this new agreement has the aim to contribute to better trade relations with the remaining 27 EU member states. Latin America and the Caribbean are linked by more than geographic proximity, and the EU is a key partner to all countries in the region, both politically and economically. At the Belgian level, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Brussels recently organized a virtual roundtable with the resident ambassadors of the CARICOM countries. During this discussion, the director of the America desk and the participating ambassadors exchanged ideas of common interest and possible future projects between Belgium and the region. This meeting, although virtually, was much appreciated by its participants and will be repeated in the future. To strengthen our ties in areas such as renewable energy, including electric mobility, fight against climate change, infrastructure, and waste management, but also training, education, and cultural exchanges for both our young people and our professionals. I wish you, Mr. Secretary General, congratulate you for your 10-year term at the head of CARICOM and for all the achievements of the organization during your tenure. Your steady leadership will undoubtedly be greatly missed. I wish your successor, Dr. Carla Barnett, all the best for her upcoming tenure at the helm of the Secretariat of this thriving community. In the spirit of further strengthening and establishing closer and more intense relations between Belgium and the Caribbean community, I am happy and honored to undertake today the task bestowed upon me by my Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sophie Wilmès, and I would be most honored, Your Excellency, if you could be assured of my total dedication to the success of this mission. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Hugo Verbist, Plenipotentiary Representative of the Kingdom of Belgium to the Caribbean Community, Mr. Dipap, Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy of Belgium, Ambassador Colin Granderson, Assistant Secretary General for Foreign and Community Relations. Ambassador, I'm indeed honored to accept your letter of credence and to extend congratulations on your appointment as the third plenipotentiary representative of the Kingdom of Belgium to the Caribbean community. I welcome your appointment as a meaningful step towards greater cooperation between the community and Belgium, and I welcome the opportunity to build on the existing relations between our countries. There is scope for enhancement of a relationship which is now conducted mainly through Belgium's membership in the European Union. Ambassador, your accreditation comes at a time when Belgium and CARICOM, like the rest of the world, are grappling with the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. It has plunged countries into social and economic disaster with a widespread loss of lives and livelihoods. May I express my condolences and that of the community to the government and people of Belgium on the significant loss of life suffered from the pandemic. Excellency, we too in this region have suffered loss of life, despite having been relatively successful in dealing with the health aspect of the pandemic. However, as the IMF has stated, the Caribbean is the most adversely affected region in the world economically by the COVID-19 virus. The tourism industry, of specific importance to us, has been amongst the sectors most significantly impacted. For CARICOM, as the most travel and tourism dependent region in the world, the result has been high levels of unemployment and significantly reduced government revenues. The matter of availability and equitable access to vaccines is therefore deeply urgent to us. Timely and universal access to COVID-19 vaccinations will remain a key tool for beating the pandemic and putting our economy on the path to a resilient recovery. It is now abundantly clear to us that the stark disparity in vaccination access poses a serious risk to our recovery. CARICOM believes that more can be done by the developed countries to provide access to vaccines for developing countries. I must, however, state that we highly appreciate the EU's contribution to the COVAX facility, and I have taken due note of Belgium's own contribution, both to the COVAX and to other of the vaccines. I take particularly note that at the recent G20 summit, Team Europe pledged to donate 100 million doses of vaccines to low and middle income countries by the end of the year, in particular through COVAX. We thank the EU for this decision, and we thank Belgium for its contribution. In addition to vaccines, Our economic recovery will be further bolstered by access to concessional financing from international financial institutions. At present, it is denied to many of our countries due to the use of GDP per capita as a criterion for access. Indeed, this criterion also hinders most of our countries categorized as middle income from benefiting from the COVAX mechanism on concessional terms. Our community strongly believes that vulnerability must be a primary factor in determining access to concessional financing. We would welcome the support of Belgium in using its important voice in the international community towards the development of a universal vulnerability index. This would be a more relevant criterion, especially for small, vulnerable economies like ours, than that of GDP per capita. I also hope that Belgium would lend its weight to promote greater political dialogue between the EU and CARICOM. This would help us to define our areas of similar interests and use them as a platform to broaden our cooperation into other areas. One of these areas is the blacklisting of some of our member states as non-cooperative jurisdictions. This unwarranted listing comes despite the fact that our countries have taken huge strides to ensure they meet standards certified by the relevant global authorities. Support for a meaningful dialogue in addressing this issue is critical, given that blacklisting has caused severe reputational damage to those member states. It results, among other things, in adversely affecting correspondent banking relationships. Another important area for engagement is climate change, which you made reference to in your statement. This is a matter of an existential nature to our community and to other small island and low-lying coastal developing states, SIDS. The latest scientific reports indicate that global warming has already risen to 1.2 degrees Celsius, which brings it closer to the 1.5 degree mark, which endangers SIDS. Its effects include more frequent and intense storms, as well as unusually heavy rainfall and drought. At present, due to such rainfall, two of our member states, Guyana and Suriname, have been experiencing devastating flooding, which has had disastrous consequences for several communities and the agricultural and mining sector. I should add that the meteorologists have said that the rainfall we're experiencing now is the highest in more than 20 years. This is happening at the onset of the annual Atlantic hurricane season, which is forecast to be very busy. These issues assume greater significance this year, given the upcoming United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP26, to be hosted by the United Kingdom in November. We look forward to the strong support of Belgium and the EU for the positions put forward by CARICOM and other SIDS at this forum. Excellency, it is clear that the Caribbean community and Belgium have much to collaborate on. I look forward to continuing partnering with Belgium to assist in achieving our aims as we seek to realize our aspirations for resilience and sustainable development. As you assume your new role as ambassador, I can assure you of my support and that of the staff of the Secretariat as we work together to strengthen the relations between CARICOM and Belgium. And I can equally assure you that my successor will do the same. Thank you very much.